Okay, finally. For the last few minutes, there was a wheel on my screen saying going live, but telling me that it wasn't working. So thank you for your patience. This is my first time doing a YouTube Live, and I am very aware that in the image, all the words on my board are backwards. So if anybody knows if there's a button that I can that I can flip so that my words are easy to read, I would appreciate that. I know that there's a way to do that on Zoom, where you can check a box that says mirror image. Oh, Aaron says board looks okay to me. Thank you, Aaron. I'm really glad because for me in my image, everything looks backwards. So good. Thank you, Aaron, for the feedback. I appreciate that. All the things I get to learn about a brand new platform. So first of all, welcome everyone. Thank you for your patience while I got these technology issues figured out, and I still get to figure out why it took 3 minutes for the video to load. Thank you for your patience. Welcome. My name is Katarina Gleisberg, and today I am representing Empowered Minds Club at Lewis and Clark's Trailblazers After School Academy, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm glad that I see in the chat box a chat from Aaron and a chat from Ms. White. At any time, if anybody is up for typing comments or questions, I love to see interaction. So thank you for that. And at any time, please feel free to comment. So first of all, because this is Empowered Minds Club and Empowered Minds Club, we do mindfulness. Let's just check in with ourselves for a moment. How are you feeling right now? And how do you know how you're feeling? So one of the things we like to say in mindfulness is that if you can name it, you can tame it. So just name what emotion or possibly emotions are you feeling right now? And is there something in the body that helps you know how you're feeling? So thank you for checking in with yourself. Again, welcome. I'm glad you are here, and I'm glad you're honoring yourself with some mindfulness and some care and some time in the present moment. Because this is the first summer school lesson, we're going to start with this activity that we do. It's called Have You Ever? And if we were doing the Have You Ever activity in person, like actually in Lewis and Clark School, we would have everyone go into the hallway and line up and take a step forward for everything in this list that they can relate to. Since we're doing this at home, you can stand if you want to and take a step. Or if you're sitting down in a chair like me and you just want to acknowledge that you have felt something before, you can raise your hand or just simply take it in. And just be aware of what you're feeling. If you're feeling something pleasant or not so pleasant, all of those things are emotions to be mindful of. So we will start the activity of Have You Ever? So first, have you ever said something you wish you could take back? Have you ever done something that you later regretted? And just notice what it feels like to think about these connections. Not judging yourself at all. Have you ever felt angry and out of control? Have you ever felt nervous or anxious about an exam or performance? Have you ever been in a bad mood, but not sure why? Have you ever been in a bad mood, but you're not even sure what the emotion is? Have you ever felt like you need a break and want everyone to just leave you alone? Have you ever had trouble falling asleep because your mind won't be quiet or your body feels restless? Have you ever been accidentally spacing out in class when the teacher calls on you? And the last one. Have you ever noticed that you do much better at sports or music or a hobby when you are really focused? All right. So, thank you for participating in that. And thank you for being honest with yourself and just really connecting to what your experience is. So, please know that any of these experiences that resonate with you, it's totally normal. I can say yes to every single one of those experiences on that list, every single one of them. So we're not judging ourselves for it, but we're just having this awareness because these are all types of situations where mindfulness can support us. Mindfulness is not this magical instant cure, but mindfulness can support us with all of those types of situations. So, thanks for bringing awareness to yourself. So, as a little bit of a reflection to this have you ever activity, maybe just think about the one that resonates most with you. What is that one that resonates most with you? If you're feeling like sharing, you can share that in the comment box. Um, know that you don't have to share, but know that this is a safe space and we're here to support each other and help each other grow. So, thank you. If you would like to share, you're welcome to. If not, just notice what's coming up for you. So, mindfulness is that brings us to our topic of what is mindfulness. So, there's several definitions. One of the definitions by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, who is kind of a pioneer as far as mindfulness-based stress reduction and getting a lot of mindfulness out there to people in the form of books and all other methods. John Kabat-Zinn says that mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment on purpose, non-judgmentally. So this includes awareness of the five senses, thoughts, and emotions. Let me repeat that again. So this includes awareness of the five senses, thoughts, and emotions. Something awesome about mindfulness is that it allows us to replace impulsive reactions, which we often regret, with skillful responses. So people have misconceptions about mindfulness, which is understandable. Let's talk about what mindfulness is and what mindfulness is not. So, first of all, as we shared before, in mindfulness, there's awareness of all emotions, thoughts, and sensations. So, sensations being any of the five senses. This means that we acknowledge all emotions, thoughts, or sensations, regardless of whether they feel pleasant or unpleasant. Some people have this misconception that mindfulness is only pleasant emotions, and that if you practice mindfulness, you should feel at peace right away, or that you should take yourself to your happy place and everything is going to be golden and happy, sitting in this garden with butterflies floating around you. Okay. People see that image sometimes, and absolutely peace and calm and happiness can be side effects of mindfulness. Absolutely. But some of the times that mindfulness serves us most are the times when we are feeling our most unpleasant emotions. I can be mindful of feeling angry or feeling bored or frustrated or disappointed or confused or lonely, and noticing how that feels like in the body and not judging myself for it. Taking a step back and just noticing what's going on. What does it feel like in my body? All of those kinds of things. So know that you don't always have to be happy or be experiencing pleasant emotions to be practicing mindfulness. Okay. So that brings us to our next bullet. Mindfulness is a skill that takes practice, just like anything else that we're learning. Whether you are learning a musical instrument or a sport or how to cook, it takes practice. It is not a magical instant cure to get rid of something that you want to get rid of. It takes practice. And that's why when we sit down to do a formal mindfulness practice, we call it a practice, because that's exactly what it is. So next we have mindfulness is awareness of habits. So when we take the time to actually sit and experience stillness or solitude or quiet, we might become aware of habits such as, oh, I keep thinking of this thing over and over again, or I keep thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner, or I keep thinking about this thing that happened that really bothered me, or I keep worrying about the future. If that's the case, know that you are not alone. All of us, myself included, we have attention that wanders, and you are strengthening the parts of the brain, the mindfulness muscles, every time you notice that your attention has wandered, and then you just gently, non-judgmentally bring your attention back to the present moment. So if that happens a lot, you can just note what's happening, thinking, or planning, and just bring it back. So mindfulness is not absence of thought. No, it's awareness of those thoughts and emotions and sensations. So mindfulness is secular, meaning it is not religious. There are so many benefits of mindfulness. Two of the most common ones found in lots and lots of research is that mindfulness increases our attention and it decreases our reactivity. So those are benefits that any religion, any background can value. So it's true that certain groups, certain religions, etc., might incorporate mindfulness practices into their groups, but mindfulness is available for free for any person of any age, any background, during any activity. That's one of the awesome things about it. Mindfulness is accessible to us all at any time. Okay. So mindfulness is compassionate and non-judgmental. So there are actually two wings of mindfulness. There is the wing of clear seeing, which is the one most people think about, that awareness. And there's also the wing of compassion, which means that how we pay attention, that intention, is just as important as our attention. So meaning, are we paying attention in a kind way, especially to ourselves and our self-talk? So mindfulness is compassionate. Because it's compassionate and non-judgmental, mindfulness is not a discipline tactic. Now, For people who practice mindfulness, and I can speak from the background of having taught mindfulness as an elementary school teacher, and then also having taught it to all ages in a few different countries, that I have noticed awesome differences in behavior, especially in young children with a mindfulness practice, because they realize that they are in control of their emotions and that they can um, make changes just by taking the time to pause and make more skillful choices. So it is true that it can be very supportive for behavior, but it is not a discipline tactic. It's not a way to punish someone. It's something that we can choose to use at any time. And because mindfulness is non-judgmental, it's even part of our definition. That means that mindfulness is about progress, not perfection. Like we said, with anything that you're learning, mindfulness is about progress, not perfection. So give yourself some compassion for what we're feeling. The brain is wired to pick up negative thoughts, and see if you can just give yourself some compassion for being a human being who experiences the very wide range of human emotions. So that's a little bit about what mindfulness is, what mindfulness is not. This is just a reminder that at any time, you are welcome to share your comments and questions in the comment box. I love to see those. So if you have questions about any of this, please share. Right now, this is a live video, and I know that people can comment live, but know that you are also welcome to comment once the video is no longer live. I would be happy to respond to that. And Google Classroom is very new to us, so I'm sure that I'll figure out soon how to respond to people via Google Classroom. But please, 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 if you have any questions or comments, share that. So thank you for that. The next thing that we're going to do is, now that we know what mindfulness is and what mindfulness is not, this can bring us into our first mindfulness practice. And so this is going to be a little introduction to mindful bodies. So when we practice this in the classroom setting, we actually normally, to introduce this, we play this game that's called Still Chillin'. So if anybody has been in one of our classes before, you probably have experienced that game. But we are practicing being, if you're sitting on the floor or whatever. And so a mindful posture includes several components. So first of all, sitting with the back upright. So we like to say upright, but not uptight. So a lot of times, if we have been sitting for a long time, especially during this whole COVID-19 quarantine, we've been spending a lot of times with technology. And so we might be hunched over staring at a screen or staring at another device in front of us. And we might hold a lot of stress, like especially in our shoulders, neck, back, upright but not uptight. So just allow those shoulders to drop and allow your feet to be flat on the floor. This can feel very grounding. And right now, I can't really move my chair because it's going to knock my board. But if you're sitting in a chair, it can also feel very grounding to feel your back right straight up against the chair. So back upright, not uptight, feet flat on the floor. Allow your body to be still and allow yourself to be quiet. And then try and have that your body and mind be relaxed yet alert. And if that's not possible, just allow whatever is happening in your experience, just allow it to be without judging yourself for it. And then the last part of a mindful body is allowing your eyes to close if it's comfortable for you. If that's not comfortable for you, then you can just have a soft, gentle gaze on the floor down a few feet in front of you. And we say gaze on the floor in one still place because part of this mindful body is stillness. So we don't want our eyes darting all around. Just a gentle, soft gaze in one still spot. And we will try a minute in this mindful posture. And many times in a mindfulness practice, we use a sound such as a bell to lead us into that present moment experience. And we can use that sound as an anchor into that present moment experience. Now, I know that the bells don't sound the same through a computer or any type of technology as they do in person. So it might sound pleasant to you, it might sound unpleasant. You can just notice that. And we'll practice for just 1 minute and just note what's coming up for you, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. And as you're sitting here, become aware of how it feels to sit in the chair. Can you feel any sensations of your body sitting? Maybe the feeling of sitting upright and your body against the bottom of the chair or the back of the chair. Or maybe can you notice the feeling of your feet flat on the floor? How does this feel for you? Can you notice the feeling of your body sitting upright and your shoulders dropped? And allow whatever is coming up for you to just be as it is. And now I'm going to ring the bell, and when you can no longer hear the sound of the bell, allow your eyes to open if they are closed and become mindful of seeing. All right. So thank you for participating in that. I know that sometimes, especially if there's a lot going on, sometimes it may not feel normal to sit still like that. So I would love to know for you. Here are some reflection questions. First of all, were you aware of any body sensations today? Any body sensations? Whether you deem them pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, were you aware of anything? And how was that experience for you of that mindful bodies practice? And please know that there are 3 reflection questions that are in Google Forms that David put together for us. So as a way of taking attendance, what helps us know that you have joined us is if you answer these questions. And so that's the first reflection question is, were you aware of any body sensations today? And so just think about what came up for you. It can be anything. It can be if you were aware of, your heartbeat, or aware of the feeling of your feet on the floor, or your hands on your knees, or anything like that. And then the second question is, were you aware of any emotions today? So especially thinking about that, have you ever exercised at the beginning? Did that trigger any emotions for you? or anything else throughout the lesson. So that's reflection question number 2, is were you aware of any emotions today? And as always, you are welcome to comment and share any response that you have, connection, question in the comment box. And then reflection question number 3 is, were you aware of any distractions today? Were you aware of any distractions today? So during any part of the lesson, maybe especially during that minute as we were just sitting still in that mindful bodies practice. And please know that if you did experience distractions, that is totally normal. As I shared before, attention likes to wander. So thank you in advance for filling out these 3 questions in the Google Forms. And please feel free to share anything else that comes up for you. We are here for you. So I am here on Mondays. And then later in the week, we will have 2 other people, Aaron and David, perhaps jointly or taking turns, kind of doing a follow-up lesson later in the week that's related to what we talk about here. And so know that you're also welcome to ask them questions, especially if something comes up for you after today's video. Know that we are here to support you. So thank you so much for joining, and congratulate yourself for being mindful of what's coming up, because mindfulness takes bravery, especially if there are emotions or sensations or thoughts coming up that you feel are unpleasant. It totally takes bravery to allow yourself to really feel them, be aware of that. So thank you for joining, and I will see you next Monday.